Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Starr, earlier in your opening remarks, you said environments such as that in Mexico involve constantly shifting threats that require comprehensive planning, agile decision-making, and deft diplomacy. You went on to say, but it's simply not enough to improve physical security. We're also training the Foreign Service community on how to better respond in these environments. Since 2008, the State Department has had a plan to build a diplomatic security training center. And included in that has been the curriculum, the infrastructure, and the personnel. Both the OMB and the GAO have come out with reports on this. And during those studies, and those studies that the OMB and the GAO have come out with, the OMB report has not been released. I have seen the OMB report. And my staff has seen the GAO report. Both of those reports cite the lack of cooperation by the State Department in trying to come up with proposals for this facility to be built. Can you tell me on a facility that's this important, on a facility that's this expensive, why the State Department would be uncooperative in addressing this? Can you tell me why FLETC, the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in Glencoe, Georgia, was only given 60 days to respond to this? Don't you think that they deserve more than 60 days? Don't you think the taxpayers of this country deserve to know exactly, apples and apples, what's going to be the best facility? What are we going to get the most from our taxpayers' dollars there? Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir, I would. I believe that it's clear that spending money on something that doesn't meet our requirements is not going to be a good investment. In previous hearings and in previous discussions with FLETC, they could not take our entire program and don't have the facilities that we need for the types of weapons that we use at the FLETC facility. They proposed using the Townsend bombing range, which is about 60 miles north of FLETC. That is a Marine Corps bombing range that is at the moment under consideration from going from a non-live munition bombing range to a live munition bombing range.
I understand that, Mr. Stahl. If I could.
They can't use it. And therefore, we believe that the Fort Pickett site is the best. But
Mr. Starr, let me ask you, Mr. Starr, did you make this clear to FLETC? Do you think that they had all the information? Because when you talk about the curriculum requirements for the training center, both in the OMB report and the GAO report, and I quote here, it says, the course information is only in the minds of the instructors, and providing it would cause a significant delay in diplomatic security operation. How can we get a price on the curriculum? How can we get an idea when it's only in the minds of the instructors?
I'm sorry, sir, that's not correct. We have extensive
This comes right out of the report.
We have extensive records. We have provided the curriculum. This is not just in the mind of instructors, sir. Every
Then why is that in the report? Why not? And can I ask you,
Sir,
Mr. Starr, I have seen the report. Mr. Starr, I've seen the report.
Which report, sir?
The OMB report, which you have denied to be released. I found nothing in there sensitive whatsoever. There were 6 comparisons done. FLETC came out on top with 3 of those comparisons. 2 of them were even, and 1 of them favored Fort Pickett. Can you tell me why that report's not being released?
Sir, the OMB report is a preliminary study.
Why is it not being released?
I don't know, sir. That's an OMB report. I can tell you that the GAO report does not reflect that. The GAO report has been finished. It has not been released yet either. I think that it's probably wise to wait until that report is released.
Mr. Starr, you'd agree this is important. Protecting the lives of our Foreign Service members are very important. Protecting their lives and training is very important. We all agree with that. You know, this is easy. This is easy when we sit here and when we sat here a couple of months ago and talked about Afghanistan and said, hey, we spent too much money. We should have, could have, would have. But what's not easy is to do something about it and to learn from it and to have an apples-to-apples comparison. You need to go back. You need to compare the 2 sites, compare them fairly. If you're right, then I will be the first one in line to support you in that. But I'm telling you, you have not done that yet. The State Department has made up their mind. They're not going to change their mind. It can only be built near Washington, D.C., because, after all, everything comes from Washington, D.C. That's the only way it can ever work. Mr. Starr, this is not right. You need to go back. You need to make it apples-to-apples comparisons. If we sit here and we say we shouldn't have spent this much money, but we don't learn from it, and we don't do something about the future, then we're all at fault here. Mr. Chairman, I yield the remainder of my time.